I'm not ashamed.
What is the second complaint that Israel had against Moses and Aaron? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Exodus on walking through the Bible.
The glory of his cross.
If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to Exodus chapter 16. We're going to be reading from verses 1 to 8. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Exodus chapter 16, beginning at verse 1. And they journeyed from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they departed from the land of Egypt. Then the whole congregation of the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said to them, "Oh, that we would have died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the pots of meat and when we ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger." And the Lord said to Moses, "Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain quota every day, that I may test them, whether they will walk in my law or not. And it shall be on the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily." Then Moses and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, "At evening you shall know that the Lord has brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the glory of the Lord, for he hears your complaints against the Lord. But what are we that you complain against us?" Also Moses said, "This shall be seen when the Lord gives you meat to eat in the evening, and in the morning bread to the full. For the Lord hears your complaints which you make against him. And what are we? Your complaints are not against us, but against the Lord." In our last episode, we have recorded for us the travels of the children of Israel following the crossing of the Red Sea. From our map, we have the children of Israel crossing the Red Sea at the Gulf of Aqaba and then traveling into the wilderness of Shur. They traveled 3 days and came to a place of bitter water, which they named Marah, meaning bitter. The children of Israel complained to the Lord, after which the Lord provided water for them by taking a tree and throwing it into the waters to make them sweet. From Marah, they traveled south to Elim and camped there. Elim is said to have 12 wells of water and 70 palm trees. From today's reading, we find that Israel travels from Elim to the wilderness of Sin. This wilderness should not be confused with the wilderness of Zin, which is in a completely different place. On our map, the wilderness of Sin is to the east of Elim. According to verse 2 of chapter 16, the wilderness of Sin is between Elim and Sinai. We don't get this from Exodus, but in Numbers 33:10, we find that there was one more camp after Elim before coming to the wilderness of Sin, which is the camp by the Red Sea. It is omitted here because obviously nothing happened there. In verse 1, we get our first time marker that would tell us how long it has been since Israel left Goshen. Israel left Goshen on the 15th day of the first month, the day after the Passover, and so now we come to the 15th day of the second month, meaning that 1 month has passed. While in the wilderness of Sin, the children of Israel again complained to Moses and Aaron. The first complaint was over water. This complaint is over food. Remember, it is likely less than 2 weeks since they crossed the Red Sea by the power of God, and now they have complained twice that God has abandoned them, leaving them to die in the wilderness. Why would God deliver them from the hands of the Egyptians, only to have them die in the wilderness? This truly shows a lack of faith on Israel's part and a short-sightedness when it came to their condition. They told Moses that it would have been better for them to die in Egypt, where at least they had food, than to die in the wilderness. Obviously, they had forgotten about the brutal conditions of slavery that they faced, or they wouldn't have been so quick to want to return. The Lord heard their cries again and told Moses that he would rain bread down from heaven, and the people would go out each day and take a quota of bread. Later on in the chapter, we'll find out what that quota is. These instructions would be a test by God to see if the children of Israel would obey the commandments of the Lord. On the 6th day, the day before the Sabbath, they were to take 2 days' worth of bread, for they were not going to work on the 7th day, the Sabbath day. We have yet to see the Sabbath day regulations given, but we will shortly, and the children of Israel were to obey them. Moses and Aaron again went to the people and told them that the Lord had heard their cries. He tells them that at evening they will know that the Lord has brought them out of Egypt, and in the morning they would see the glory of the Lord. They should have known already, but alas, they complained, so the Lord would show them again. They will see that the Lord has brought them out of Egypt because he would provide them meat in the evening, something we'll get to later in this chapter, and bread in the morning. Moses concludes by telling Israel that their complaints are not really against them, but against God. This is a chastisement of the people, for they should not complain against God. We'll continue this story, the Lord willing, in the next episode. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Exodus chapter 16, verses 9 to 16, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time.
I'm not ashamed.
Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.
Of his cross.